Yes, yes. So they put again, he put again some
With a down payment, yeah.
or bought a book to build some. He was really very clever. That was.
Okay. So what do you want to say about this?
Well, the two sisters-in-law, and the other one is with you and their family, or?
But it's your life. We want a story of your life. These things are, we want to hear what you want to say about what we can learn, what you can't tell us later on, what we can keep and share about your life. So I think it's important that we focus on what you can tell us, what we won't be able to hear from you later on, and what we can print and show to people about your life. We've got to focus on, we've got 10,000 photos and we can't just talk about every memory you've had, but we want to talk about what we can recover about your life and what's significant to you. I mean, you can either...
So difficult, how can I do it in a way? See, because as you know, I have been baptized Ilse. Then when I grew up in Brno, so I was Elli, that was bilingual, Elli, and in Czech, Eliska.
So is that significant for you? Should we write? We don't have to. That's what I'm saying. We want to do it digitally, how it suits you. This is an idea, and you can either follow that, and if it's too difficult for you and you don't want to follow that pattern, then tell me how you want it.
See, that's what.
And we'll print it how you want it.
I am telling you that.
So, do you want to say what your full name is? So tell me, my full name
is Ilse Marie Antoinie. Or what is my name now? See?
My full name. It doesn't say is. My full name. So whether at birth or what? So what? Yeah. But I like to be called. Or you can say my full name was when I was born. But I like to be called.
I have no preference.
Or you can say, but I was called. I mean, think about what we're going to print here.
See, that's what I did not know. That's what I was hoping you give me more.
Yeah, but it's your story. I'm here now. I'm asking you the questions, and I just need the answers, and then we will print them. That's what we're doing now. So my full name is, or my full name was. My full name was. Okay, my full name was?
Ilse Marie Antoinie.
But I like to be called, or something else there. But I was called, or but I became, or now I am. Now I am.
Yes. Elizabeth. Because it's in most languages the same.
But you spell Elizabeth with a Z, the Australian way, whereas in Europe they would, not in Europe, in German-speaking word they would put an S.
Even here.
Some. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so just Elizabeth with no second or third name.
No.
Just Elizabeth.
Mary in some of the documents.
Mary? M-A-R-Y?
M.
Just M?
M, yes.
Because your mother's name was Marie. M-A-R-I-E.
Learned for my future life. See, now when people complaining about income and how work their finances, I learned if you have no income, you can't buy things. You have to, and that's what I learned at school. And this just stayed with me, and I just, that's the way I lived.
This is the lesson we want to hear. So when you say it, if I can film it, and
Yeah.
then otherwise I'll
Yes.
record it in the book. And this is your message to posterity.
Yes. This what I really
So tell your
feel.
story, yeah?
Yes. So my first job was during the war, Nationale Volkswohlfahrt. That was the German organization for the kindergarten. And this what is so complicated to. So I just I write down my first job with the German NSV. That was
Was that already under Hitler?
yes.
So these are also things, part of history that we don't understand, we have no relationship to, we never learned in school here in
Yes.
Australia, and the Austrians are still coming to terms with it. These are the stories it's interesting for us to hear. What was it like for you? Where were you when Hitler marched, and what effect did it have on you?
Hitler came to Brno when I had the measles. So that's what I remember, that I could not go and welcome him because I had the measles. I was in bed. And yes, and see, and Brno was quite a mixture because it is close. It was in the past before it became Czechoslovakia. You guys think?
I'm filming.
Yeah. So because it was part of the Austrian-Hungarian monarchy. And so since 1918, it became Czechoslovakia. And so in Brno there were at least 60% Czechs, and the rest were different, German and Hungarian and different nationalities. But we had our schools and also our, we had our Czechoslovakian citizenship, but we had all our different nationalities, because I have, after my father, the German nationality. That was a law at the time, that the family is after the dead. So my Czech mother became German citizen.
Also.
Yes, because through her marriage to a German. And so I, as a 3-year-old, already grew up bilingual because my Czech grandmother in Brno, my mother was working at the time, and so I spent most of the time during the day with my Czech grandmother, but went from 3-year-old to German kindergarten. And so from 3-year-old I became bilingual because my father was born in the border between Germany and Czechoslovakia, and he did not know Czech. And that's what he went from Labes, where he was born, a small village near Karlsbad. And he went to work in Warnsdorf, where he met my mother, who came there to learn German. So that's what I met there. And there where I was born, and they married on the 14th of February, 28. Yes. And when I was 11 months old, so they shifted to Brno, and there I grew up. I stayed there until I 49. I left Czechoslovakia when we found out that my father is alive. After 5 years, we did not know that he was missing during the war. As a German citizen, he had to go to the German army, and we found that he is in France, prisoner of war. So I applied with my mother, and we migrated from Czechoslovakia 49 to France. And before that, I was working as, I didn't say after that I was working in the kindergarten. Yes, I did.
You mentioned briefly that
Yes.
the national...
till the end, 1944, I was working in the kindergarten, and on the 20th November, we were bombed out in the kindergarten, and I walked with difficulty home to where I was living, and there was the staircase bombed out. So, and my mother was at the time still in the cellar, and in the Adlergasse. And so from then on, we were really homeless. We did not we were then later on, we got with our neighbor, we got a flat together. And but there we were bombed out in the beginning of 45. Shortly before the war finished, and there we were bombed out too. So since then, we didn't had any living quarters. So we were staying. Whoever took us. My grandmother had only one room, so she had not much space for us to stay, and so whoever took us a short time, my uncle, my mother's brother, and then we found one of my my aunties, her relative was sick and was alone and needed the care. So there I went with my mother to look after her, and that was after the war 45, when President Beneš came to Brno, and all the Germans had to be interned for the weekend while the president was in Brno, and that was on the see, I've forgotten how to say it in German. Eichenstraße? No, it doesn't sound right. Nabeberry. And there we were staying, and next to us on the floor where we were sleeping was Mrs. Kretschmer with her daughter Lydia. After her, I called you, because she had a big flat which she needed to share with somebody, otherwise they would have taken to her. So we were staying with them for quite a while.
So tell me why your mother never went out.
She was quite content because her knowledge of German was no good. So she did not communicate very well. And so she was content being just in her flat where she was safe. And so that was the reason that she really, and that was what contributed to her Alzheimer. That's what my father just could not cope with anymore.
But you said also that because of the reason she was happy to have the flat of her own because of all the bombing and having to
The
escape.
bombing, yes,
you know.
during the war, that we lost 2 of our homes. And then when she was at Uncle Tony's house, so they were, but now when she had her own flat, so she really felt comfortable just for being there, and she was really content. She really did not wish anything more. As I said, her German was not so well. See, that's what I am lucky that I can communicate with most people, and so that's what is very important to try to learn according to your capability, because everybody has different capability. What you can do, I cannot do. See, with your new implements, I am completely lost. I don't even try because I am content with what I have learned